Hello, everyone. This is Travis. You know me as Holden from the Star Trek Tempest crew. I am here today. It's something really exciting, actually. When I came up with this idea to do the Kobayashi Maru scenario, my original plan was to just toss it out to my crewmates and run through them. But somewhere in the planning process, we had the idea to also, because we don't have a ton of Patreon supporters yet, to throw it out to anybody who wanted to jump in and play. And we had two wonderful people actually reply and want to play a game with me. So introduce yourselves. Hello there.
Hello, I'm Mariana. This is my brand new husband, Calvin.
Hello.
Hello, hello. So how did you all find Starship Tempest?
I mean, it just looking for different podcasts. I mean, we are both huge fans of Star Trek. That's actually part of how we met. We're asking each other nerdy questions. So we share that love between us. So we're just looking for podcasts, all the Tempest. We've always been a little interested in D&D style games, but unfortunately we have never got a chance to play ourselves. So listening to you guys play has been wildly entertaining.
Yeah, we were hooked from the time you picked up a family on your first mission and just kept them on the ship. It's just still there.
Oh, the Mackleys. Someday I'm wondering if Brian's going to have them actually pop up for real, and that'll be a weird day.
Well, we always listen out for mentions of them.
Wow, so okay, cool. I'm not gonna lie, since we don't have a lot of patrons, I sort of half assume that anyone that's on there are people that we know personally. So the fact that you didn't come through us through like a family member of one of the crew is even more exciting to me. So I'm really happy to have you here.
Yeah, it was really cool when we saw the email. We immediately thought, oh, that's what we're doing.
You two did some pre-work beforehand. I tossed out the idea of potentially making you two the first Binars in Starfleet Academy because you said you wanted to do this together.
Which will be awesome. Very little known about the Binars.
So if you want to go ahead and open up your character creations, your character page on there, the first thing we'll dive into is aspects. What do you want your paired Binar humanoid life form to be about? What is your motivation? Why are you joining Starfleet?
Do you remember a lot about the Binar episode? I skipped that one most of the time.
I know that they part of the brain that is replaced at birth, pretty much. They're a little bit cyborg, and they can communicate. Would seem to be telepathically, but it's over some sort of local network.
Yeah, it's like Bluetooth gets installed into their frontal lobe or something like that. So,
can our trouble please be a glitchy Bluetooth connection?
Absolutely. Done. That is glitchy Bluetooth will be perfect.
Awesome. Okay.
And so high concept, you're a pair of Binars, and you decide to join Starfleet for some reason.
Do we want to be rebellious Binars? Like our parents told us we absolutely could not join Starfleet, so we ran away, and that's what we did.
I had a dream once.
Which means I also once had a dream.
Yeah, so we had a dream. There was a bunch of zeros and ones, and then I saw a 2, and I realized that there must be more to life.
I love it.
Awesome.
You're a
yeah.
Too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna call that Rebel Explorer. How about that?
Awesome. I like it.
Yeah, I like it. And so then we're gonna add one more. What are you very good at? Are you super quick on the trigger? Are you?
Well, I cursed us with glitchy Bluetooth, so you come up with something to help us in combat.
Well, I would assume they would play everything by the numbers. So
yeah.
It would be...
I think that actually just plays by the numbers is actually perfect. I think that will work out really well.
We're like the anti-Han Solo over here.
Oh my god!
Always tell me the odds.
Oh, I really like it. Yeah, these are very broad based. So I mean,
we can apply them a lot of different ways.
So now we're going to move over to your approaches, which are the ways in which you tackle a task. Since you all are Binars, I'm going to give you some extra points here. I'm going to give you 2 2s.
Okay.
2 1s and 2 0s.
2 2s, 2 1s, and 2 0s?
Yep. So,
okay.
So how do you think?
Things. I think we're probably not very flashy.
No, not flashy at all.
Okay, so definitely a 0 for flashy.
Okay.
Right.
You think we're forceful?
I
And we're physically not very big.
Forceful can be attitude as well. It's just if you're.
I mean, if you look at the TNG episode where they're introduced, they kind of try to hijack the Galaxy class.
Yeah,
stuff.
they do try to steal the Enterprise.
Fair.
Yeah.
I mean, that's gutsy. And I think that's a flavor of forceful right there.
All right, so do you want to use one of our 2s on that?
Yes.
Okay, forceful's a 2.
All right.
You think clever?
Yeah, I think we're definitely.
Or are we careful?
No, we're rebel explorers. We're not careful.
Ah, that's true.
I would put us as clever, though, so 2 for clever.
Mm-hmm.
Got it.
Of the 3 things we have left, careful, quick, and sneaky.
Because I imagine that if we're talking telepathically, we would be quick.
Yeah, so definitely a 1 for quick.
Right. So it's between sneaky and careful.
I'm gonna cite Rebel Explorer again.
Mhm.
We launched ourselves into space in search of a 2. I think we're sneaky because we have to be.
That is a great sentence, by the way.
Okay.
So yeah, 1 for sneaky, 0 for careful.
Got it. Okay. We launched ourselves into space in search of a 2.
Mhm.
Alrighty. So are y'all ready?
Absolutely, we are.
Ready to dive into this?
Yep.
Okay. So it's another day at Starfleet Academy. You wonderful pair of Binars saunter in. I think you do like sort of Galaxy Quest walking, if I remember that episode correctly. And take a seat. They've installed 2 captain's chairs this time for you because Starfleet is all about accessibility. So they have 2 chairs for you. You sit down. The ship's kind of dim down low, and comes up, and you're just on your ship flying through space. Suddenly, your ship picks up a distress signal from a nearby transport vessel, the Kobayashi Maru. The message states that the ship was transporting a group of settlers to the 3rd moon of Elbers 4 when it came under attack from some Klingons. Multiple ships decloaked, scanned the transport, and then opened fire. They're worried that if someone doesn't come immediately, they're going to be destroyed. What do you do?
1101 1101.
0001111.
I will need you to translate that.
We've got a bunch of Klingons firing on our ship in distress.
How many Klingons were there?
It just says multiple ships. It does not tell you how many. My guess is you want to run a scan.
We would like to scan.
just a guess.
Yes.
So go ahead and pull up your character sheet. You have that up. So what are you scanning for?
We need to know how many ships. You said Klingon. How many Klingon ships? I assume warbirds, but let's find out. Or we should find out if there are still life forms alive on the
Kobayashi Maru.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So we want to scan for number and type of enemy ships and life signs on the Kobayashi Maru, and I want to add scan to see how damaged the Kobayashi Maru is.
Smart.
Okay.
So we want to do a lot.
Yeah, no, that's perfectly fine. You're trying to gather information. Let's just do clever for now. You're trying to pre-plan how you're going to approach this situation. So go ahead and so you're just going to click the little dice roll next to clever. This is going to be a difficulty 0 because you're just scanning.
Okay.
And a 2.
Hey.
So you roll. You are able to scan. From your scans, you were able to read the Kobayashi Maru is there. You pick up a Klingon cruiser, sort of hovering by it, and 2 birds of prey, also sort of circling. So there are 3 total Klingon ships there. The Kobayashi Maru is sort of sitting there. You can read that it is taken quite a bit of damage. Its shields are currently still up, but you can't get like an exact percentage, but you can definitely tell that their shields are failing in time. So they probably won't last much longer, but they still do have shields at this point.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And what else? What other info were you looking for?
Any life signs left on the Kobayashi Maru?
Oh, yep. Yeah, you can pick up life signs. You can't pick up the exact number of life signs on there, but you do know from your databanks that the Maru normally has a crew complement of about a dozen, and that the manifest for the number of settlers is about 40. There's about 50 people on the Maru at this point.
And can we tell from our initial scan whether those life signs are as expected or whether they've been replaced by Klingons?
Ooh, that is clever. No, you can't tell that.
Okay.
I would assume that their engines are damaged. Can we tell if their engines are online? Do they have impulse but not warp? Or...
Right now they're at impulse. Yeah, like any ship battle in Star Trek, once everybody starts firing, no one just hits the warp button to leave.
Yeah.
Like you'd think that people would think of that, but that's just not really a thing that happens. So, the ship itself seems in okay shape. They've just taken a lot of shots with that. And I will note that while you're scanning and sort of like seeing this, you do pick up disruptor fire from the cruiser, and it hits the Kobayashi Maru while you're watching.
Okay.
So it is actively firing on it at the moment.
Do you want to send a message back before we dive in?
You can, but it's not going to make a difference here.
Oh, you meant back to Starfleet?
Yes. Yeah.
I was thinking you wanted to send a message to the Klingons and yell at them.
That would be my second question.
For being big jerks.
That would be my second question.
Okay. We definitely should. Too many times on Star Trek, the ship just goes into complete danger without letting anyone know it. Hey, if you haven't heard back from us in a day, we're probably dead. Come look for us.
Yeah. So okay, you send a message back to Starfleet, letting them know we've picked up this distress signal and we're gonna go look at it.
Yep, report back. Okay, now action that might affect our plot. Do we want to contact the Klingons first?
If we're playing it by the numbers,
yes.
Yes, we should tell them, please stop doing what you're doing.
How much knowledge do you think we have of Klingon culture? Because we should probably not lead with the word please if we have any.
That's true. Binars would look up a cultural database for Klingons.
Yes. And
maybe start with a Vulcan hello, I don't know.
What era of Klingons are we dealing with?
So in this particular scenario, like this era, like I'm following the era of it happens around the time that the Tempest crew would be in Starfleet Academy. So this is sort of follows Brian's layout of there's technically peace between the Federation and the Klingons, but there are some factions of the Klingons that want to fight the Federation, and so there's still some skirmishes happening here and there.
Okay.
So yeah, there is a peace treaty between the Klingons and Federation at the moment, but the idea of a rogue Klingon ship or two kind of going and attacking some random ship has happened. So.
But they should know better. They're just being jerks.
So I kind of want to call the Klingons and take a "What do you think you're doing?" tone with them. What do you think?
I agree.
Okay, we would like to forcefully call the Klingons.
All right. Are you going to move any closer to the situation, or are you still staying on the edge of scanning range at this point?
Let's move closer. Can we do that without getting into weapons range? Or is scanning range and weapons range about the same?
I'm going to say if you want to move closer, you're going to basically be like arriving on the scene, essentially. So you'll be in there with them, or you can stay back at scanning range, at which point they're just going to likely keep doing what they're doing, and then you can try and talk to them that way.
If we do approach, we should approach but stay outside of their weapons range.
We can't do that according to our scenario. So we're either in it or we're not. This is the moment we are not careful.
And remember, this is less like dice rolling dungeon mastery thing. So like if you get into the scene, it just means that you're kind of in it.
Yeah, we're not
as opposed to
going to get shot.
Yeah. Right now you're far enough away that whatever's happening immediately to the Maru, you're not involved in. If you want to get closer, then I'm going to put you right in it. Otherwise, you're going to kind of stay away. You can try to chat with them from this distance if you want.
We're going to have to get in there.
All right. We're headed in.
All right.
We'd like to call them en route.
Sounds good. All right. So what do you say? You send out a hail. What are you going to... Are you saying hello, jerks? Is that what we're going with?
What's up, jerks? I feel like insulting them probably not the best lead-in since we are a tiny ship.
So they respect boldness, though.
That's true. All right. So yeah, what's up, jerks?
All right.
I thought we had accords. What's going on over here?
All right. So you hail them and say, "What's up, jerks?" And to be honest, they were not gonna even respond to you at first, but like that kind of grabs their attention.
Well done.
Thank you.
Yeah. So the Klingon of the cruiser, the captain of the cruiser, Captain Balmok, as his name is. I'll give you a little bit of flavor text here.
Ooh.
He is a grizzled veteran of the Klingon Empire, who has consistently refused additional promotions so that he can continue keeping his hands dirty.
Okay.
Yeah. So he pops up on the screen, and he is amused. Isn't quite the word. He genuinely likes that that's how you started it. He genuinely is like, I can't, because he's in a fairly large Klingon cruiser. He's got a pretty strong ship, and he sees this, what I'm gonna say, like the Honda Accord of Starfleet vessels.
USS Rubber Duck.
Right, like coming in and like coming out with the hello jerk. So he comes on and he is genuinely sort of like, who are these people? Sees you and sees a pair of binars sitting in the chair. And he's like, oh, this is interesting. And he just kind of he just dives in and he's like, this is no concern of yours. I will let you turn around and leave if you choose. But if you continue to interfere in our matters, then I will not hesitate to destroy you.
Okay, well, we got his attention. We have to work fast.
We have to keep it,
to not lose it. But if he is responding because he likes our moxie,
we should play on that. Got to be careful not to push it too far so that we become annoying. But if we can walk the line of amusing, we might be able to pick the prince up and carry him out of the woods.
Okay. We should not be phased by his threat.
Okay.
So let's completely outright ignore that.
Absolutely.
I have a plan. I don't know how to implement it. But what I want to do...
The best kind of plan.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because this is a Klingon's Klingon, it sounds like.
Yeah.
I want to see if we can get him to send his other two ships away. I want to take all of his attention.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if we're gonna go out, I would like to last a little bit of time to maybe let the Kobayashi Maru get some distance, get some repairs done, maybe they can get out of here.
I think we should see if we can talk him into letting us beam the crew off and the colonists. Right? There's colonists in this one?
Yeah, there are settlers on the getting ready to go settled.
Mm-hmm.
In that time, you have arrived. You kind of drop out of warp,
Mm-hmm.
and one of the birds of prey flies by, completely knocks out the shields of the Maru at this point.
Okay.
The ship itself hasn't been hit. It hasn't, but now it's defenseless essentially. So.
Well, if their shields are down, then we could beam them aboard if we dropped our shields.
If we're fast, and then we have to get away.
How long would it take for us to do the transporters? How much time would we need to buy?
Yeah, I mean, this is less, again, not super crunchy the same way other systems are. It's sort of like, if that's what you want to try to do, you're going to lower your shields. You can try to transport them. I'll let you give it a shot. But as soon as the Klingons sort of recognize that you're transporting, they're gonna turn at you, obviously.
Yeah. So I think I don't think we can outrun them in our ship.
I'm betting probably not.
No. So I'm wondering if we can get the Klingons to take more of a symbolic victory than actually we murdered everybody victory.
That's interesting, but we got them on the hook for a short amount of time. How do we?
Yeah.
What do we offer them that would be a symbolic victory?
So what if we can talk him into accepting getting the Kobayashi Maru itself as a prize that he gets to take home as we caught some people and look, we got this thing, and we will advertise the fact that we lost to him big and loud, so he gets to look really cool going home, but doesn't actually have to murder anybody.
Okay, I've got it.
And it would mean he still gets to win, but doesn't risk an all-out war.
Okay, I've got it. So we chest bump up.
Okay.
On the view screen.
You want to? The two of us.
The two of us.
Oh, yeah.
We'll each other's chest.
Okay.
We're gonna say, "Hey, ugly.
No.
Why are you picking on such a small fry? What's your beef?" But
please don't make us say the factual
but in
words.
ones and zeros.
What's
do it
your
over.
targ?
We're not going to use those actual words there. So we want to.
You don't have to come up with specific wording here either. Like, if you're just going to be forceful about it, like, I'm game for it.
Here's what I'd like to do,
okay.
And if you agree, we'll just go ahead and do it as is. We turn to each other, do the chest bump, then turn back, and in eerie unison say, "We are the Binar."
Resistance is futile.
Resistance is futile. We have summoned the hive. It will descend upon us.
You took one course on Borg 101 and
one course on Borg. The hive will descend upon us. Do you wish war with the Federation and the Binar hive?
All right, so two things are going to happen now.
Okay.
First, Balmok is going to respond. He's going to pop up. He's going to say, "I am not afraid of the Federation. I will win any battle that I am a part of, and I will defend the Klingon Empire to my death."
Okay.
He will note, so he will say, "Besides, your threats mean nothing. The threat of war with the Federation means nothing because we are attacking this ship because the Federation is attempting to embed a spy in the neutral zone, in with the settlers right here and right now. I'm putting an end to that right now. So your threats mean nothing all in that."
I see. Okay, I have an idea.
One more thing happens.
Okay,
Remember two things happen.
Sorry,
And
I thought that was two things. Go on.
He was just telling you that that's the reason he's fighting.
Okay.
Okay. And so when you hop on, you're messaging the cruiser, but obviously the other ships can't hear you. And as you're sort of bumping your chests about the Federation and getting into a war, Balmok does turn and replies to you as it is. However, one of the birds of prey that was targeting the Kobayashi Maru stops targeting the Kobayashi Maru. Instead, it turns and starts to head towards you.
Okay.
The other one does take one final shot, and again, the Kobayashi Maru has no shields at this point. Hits it, sparks fly. It starts to list a little bit. Some plasma starts venting. It's definitely taken some damage. And yeah, just kind of like listing at the moment. It still looks like there's power. It's not, going to explode immediately, but it's obviously taking some damage.
So we basically got one more exchange to talk this guy into it, or everybody's dead.
And so yeah, so that was Balmok. He just tells you that yeah, he's not afraid of the Federation, and in his mind, the Federation has already started something by sending a spy.
Do you have any thoughts before I dive in with my idea?
Well, your ideas are my ideas for Vinar's.
That is true.
So let's hear our clever plan.
Okay, so I want to build off of my original plan of trying to get him to give us back the colonists. First, he can't know who the spy amongst them is. He just knows that there is one. So he'd have to kill them all, which is, I think we can lean on it being dishonorable to punish a group for one individual's treachery.
Yeah, I will let you know that when it comes to like he
Probably
feels
not going to talk him out of this.
Well, not so much not talking about it, but more so just the idea of the fact that not everyone on the ship is a spy. In his view, anyone who's on the ship is also harboring a spy at the moment. So
yeah, that's
not really a distinction that he's going to make at the moment. One of his aspects is bloodthirsty.
Okay.
So
fun. One of his aspects is bloodthirsty.
So
well, if it's a spy, then killing them will mean that he'll never know what information they've already collected or who their contacts could be. So we should probably talk him into keeping them alive at least long enough to figure out who the spy is and then interrogate them. We should get him to want to interrogate, not kill.
Okay, so what do you think you should say to him?
Let's be incredulous, like you were saying.
Okay.
I can't believe you would kill all these colonists just to get one spy, and even then you're throwing away an opportunity to learn Federation secrets and who our contacts are in your empire. If you're this foolish, then we might as well let you take your pathetic prize and go.
Okay, yeah, I like it. We say that.
all right, yeah, Balmok is a fan of y'all binaries at the moment. Let's see. Yeah, he comes on and he just looks and goes, "You have a very good point. Target their power systems." And so the cruiser takes another shot and hits the Maru, and the entire Maru just goes dark. And then all three of the ships turn towards you. The Tubga was the one that was already coming at you at the time. And so the Tubga is going to take a shot. To give you the flavor text of Captain Tubga on this particular bird of prey, despite maintaining the rank of captain, Tubga only barely regained his honor after having been taken prisoner at the hands of the Federation.
Mm-hmm.
So he was not a big fan of being taken prisoner, not killed in battle. So he felt it was a very big dishonor, which is why when you started talking up the Federation, he stopped attacking the Maru and wants to come at you. So he is going to attack you forcefully. What do you see? You see this Klingon bird of prey like coming at you. Its disruptors are starting to fire up. What are you going to do in response?
Throw a tractor beam on this ship and get the hell out of Dodge.
You want to just grab the Kobayashi Maru and run?
Both of us are so close to being smithereens.
Look, I feel like we're at least halfway to being prisoners of war.
Well, in this exact moment, you're about to be shot on by Captain Tubga. So not looking at the broader, so like you just see a ship getting ready to fire on you. What are you doing?
Okay, so shields up, obviously. Evasive maneuvers.
So yeah, so you can either try to evasive maneuvers or you can try and get your shields up. That's gonna depend on which approach you're gonna be rolling.
If we're playing it by the numbers, shields up.
All right, we raise the shield.
Alrighty, so you raise shields. You're gonna go ahead and give me a it's gonna be a careful. You're playing by the
Oh
numbers.
man, I can't forcefully raise the shields.
No, not in this case. But again, we'll see how the roll goes. Since you specifically even already said you're going to play it by the numbers. If it's a bad roll, then you know you have that in your card. So.
All right. So here we go. Careful roll.
3, 2, 1. All right. So you got a 1. Tuba got a 4. So you do have the choice if you want to. He did win. He's going to hit you.
Yeah.
You have the choice.
Mitigate that.
Yeah. Right now, if he hits you, it will do 3 damage. If you do the play by the numbers, you can reduce that to 1. It's still 1 box that's going to be marked off, so I'm not sure how useful that is. In theory, you could re-roll and maybe get a 4 or higher, but vast majority, like the bell curve for fate rolling, is negative 2 to 2, basically. So
let's go ahead and use our plays by the numbers.
All right, so yeah, so you were playing by the numbers. You're going to be super careful because you can get your shields up. So use that. You have 2 fate points left. That's going to take you up to a 3. So you're just going to take 1 damage.
Okay.
All right, so you've taken a hit. The whole screen shakes. Everybody does the little shimmy thing while the camera shakes a little bit, but it's not too bad. What are you doing now?
You still think we should run? We're gonna have to use 2 turns for it. We're probably gonna get blown up.
Well, we're Starfleet. Can we science our way out of this? Can we somehow jam their targeting? Maybe that would buy us just enough time to do
something. Look,
always try the
plan.
Yeah, if you're gonna try the Calvin maneuver in this scenario of like trying to jam their sensors, that's absolutely something you can try doing.
My grand plan is to send what looks like a coded transmission to our quote unquote spy on the other ship to try to convince Captain Balmock that we too are useful in some way and that he should take us prisoner. I mean, if I'm wrong, it's too late to run. If you're wrong, it's too late to try diplomacy. You want to rock, paper, scissors? Divine our way?
Okay, rock, paper, scissors.
All right.
This is compelling audio drama.
Yes. We will abide by the rock, paper, scissors. Are you ready?
Okay. I like it.
1, 2, 3, shoot on shoot.
1, 2, 3, shoot.
Dang, we both did paper. Ready?
This is what happens when binars play rock, paper, scissors.
1, 2, 3, shoot! Ha! I win!
Ah.
Scissors beats paper.
All right. So it sounds like you're going to try some diplomacy.
Yeah. Okay. So I want to really quickly fake an encrypted message, and I want it to read: "They're onto you. If taken to Klingon homeworld, maintain cover. Contact superiors. Help coming. Full stop."
All right. And the goal of this is to
convince Captain Balmock that we are in on the spy trade and might also have useful information.
Alrighty, so you're going to be rolling clever.
Okay.
Because you're trying to do this I mean, it could also be sneaky, but I'll give clever.
Okay.
Here, because it's a pretty clever plan. And you are directing it essentially so that Balmock can catch it, so you're going to find out if he falls for it, because he is also going to roll clever.
Okay, then here I go.
Oh, you rolled a 3, you rolled a 4.
Can I make a case for being a rebel explorer? I may go out on a limb and try to make a case that my glitchy Bluetooth, like Garrick's explosion in the pale moonlight, might make this more convincing. Because it looks bad.
So you just put just enough mistakes in there. It's like purposely getting wrong a couple answers on a test.
Yep.
That you have the key for.
So it looks just panicked and fast enough that he might believe it.
All right. Yeah. I don't know if it's going to turn out the way you think it will or wanted it to, but yes. So you send that message.
If I get blown up, it's been fun having a Bluetooth mind connection with you.
I love that you use glitchy Bluetooth.
Tell my mother I said beep.
So he picks it up. He does fall for it. He absolutely believes that now, like, he already thought there was a spy on the Maru because that was the intel that they had. And being fairly bloodthirsty for Klingons, he was already pretty like rah rah rah. He was just going to destroy the whole thing. You two have convinced him to instead take them all prisoner and torture them nonstop until they find out who the spy is and what the spy knows.
I can't tell if I won or lost.
And now you have confirmed that there is a spy on board by sending this, and now he totally believes it.
Yep.
However, the spy is now his goal, and you two are not. So Balmock is going to turn now confidently, knowing that, and all 3 are going to kind of come at you. Do a couple shots, and then we'll see if you make it, and then if you are, you'll have a chance to try and do something else.
Okay.
So Bolmock's gonna fire first. Yeah, he's doing forceful. He doesn't really care about saving you at this point. So okay. What are you gonna do when you see the cruiser turn and take aim at you?
So just to recap, we have essentially saved the crew's lives, but
they are going to live,
which might
for a while at least.
Long enough. Well, we said that message earlier back to Starfleet.
Yeah,
so
true.
Who does know what happened.
So maybe there are other diplomatic channels or secret missions that they can go on to rescue these. We've bought them time.
Yes.
So now our lives are forfeit.
Yeah, but if we can save our lives, I would like to. Like, I feel good about the fact that the
I like living.
is not blowing up. So if we die, that's okay. But if we can live, I'd like to try.
I think we should just jump to warp.
Okay, so you don't want to try a fancy maneuver, you want to just try to run?
I mean, our goal was to respond to the distress call. And we attempted to save as many lives as possible. We have done that through your clever ruse. I think we should run. If we can't hit a tractor beam on them and take off, if we have one shot, I think we should run.
Okay.
The two-butt method.
Then we'll do the two-butt maneuver.
Okay.
We would like to run.
Alrighty. So that's gonna be quick because you're trying to warp out before they get the shot off.
Okay. And here we go.
Got a 2 and a 4.
Ooh.
So yeah, no, in this case, he fires a disruptor. It hits your shields, it does 2 damage, so it go ahead and knocked out your 2 box there.
Okay, so
but does not destroy you.
awesome.
Okay.
And yeah, you were able to turn around and hit the warp button, and your ship, which we didn't name, but your ship jumps away and warps back to Federation space.
Awesome. Hey, we live.
That is the end of this scenario. So
Look at that. We just got a whole bunch of people tortured.
By the numbers.
Yeah, I sort of love it. So first of all, I will say of all the crew that have run through it, that is definitely the best in quotation marks run of that particular scenario. Everybody else gets destroyed. But I'm putting a caveat because like the asterisk is you saved the settlers, but now a whole bunch of just settlers are going to be tortured for however long.
Yeah, they
in a
are
Klingon
alive.
prison. But they are alive.
Thank you about that.
So yeah, you essentially saved the crew ish, and did not die. So congratulations, you did a heck of a job on that one.
I think we gave him a fighting chance to survive.
Yeah.
And
at least long enough for us to gather a greater force than cadets in the USS Pratchett.
Yeah. So congratulations. That was a really good one.
Awesome.
Yeah. Great job. That was fun.
We had a great time.
That was fantastic.
Alrighty. So yeah, I'm ready for scenario number 2 if you are. We had talked at the start of before we started recording, we had talked about potentially doing the cadet cat because you had done some character work beforehand to do your cat. We can either keep going with your binars, or we can quickly create cadet cat and try cadet cat on one. Which would you prefer?
I think we should do Captain Detest. So our cat character is, what's the species name? Cation?
Cation, just
Yes.
like
Cation. Yep.
the doctor from Lower Decks. And,
Yep.
And her name is Captain Detest, because one of our cat's nicknames is Duchess.
Nice. So Captain Duchess, we will go ahead and do that. I'm going to go ahead and close out the binar page. So we are going with Cadet Cat. So what are we looking at in terms of aspects?
Okay, so we're certain about the trouble aspect, and that is that she's highly distractible.
Yes.
Which, not just like, oh, a squirrel, but also probably has trouble focusing in environments with a lot of input coming at her at once, like a phaser bite.
Yeah. Like that.
And I'm not sure about her high concept aspect, because we just put that she was Cation, but I think we need something a little more descriptive.
We can do the Cation as the third aspect.
Okay. We looked up a bunch of stuff about, Cations in Star Trek, and it turns out that they're a highly cooperative species. So we were hoping we could sneak in a team dynamics.
Absolutely. There's no way I'm not going to let you put team dynamics on here. I did a high concept as master at team dynamics. So yeah, whenever you're doing, and again, these can be super broad. So you can lean into the idea of like, well, I'm firing phasers, and I mean, go the straight Captain Maddox route and be like, I'm gonna go pat my tactical officer on the back and say, good job.
Good
and
job.
and that'll absolutely be a way that you can use that, and I'll give it to you.
Does that help him aim better?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Okay, yeah. So
what points are we working with for our approaches? Are we doing 2 2s, 2 1s, 2 0s again?
No, since you're just cadet to chess, we're gonna do the same ones that most of the cadets got, which is a single 2, 3 1s, and 2 0s.
Yeah.
Okay, so 2 for clever.
All right.
I think quick and sneaky should both be 1s, and that leaves us with forceful, flashy, and careful with a 1 and 2 zeros to work with. I feel like, yeah, so I'd put a 0 for forceful.
Okay. Everybody kind of ends up backing in once you get to the last couple.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like, I know we, in our original talk, we put a 0 for flashy, but I feel like should be flashy over careful. Plus, we were 0 flashy last time.
Yeah.
Let's be flashy.
Yeah.
1 flashy, 0 careful.
Perfect. Right. So yeah. So Captain or Cadet Chess walks into the normal simulator like they normally do. Sits down. The lights kind of dim for a second, and then the screen comes up. Your ship is just cruising along, not really doing a patrol of some sort, charting some star charts like you do. When you get a distress signal from a freighter traveling through the neutral zone. It's the Klingon neutral zone. It claims to be under attack by a Federation starship, the Kobayashi Maru. The freighter, registered as the Guff, claims that they received no warning prior to the attack, and with their shields failing, will likely be destroyed. What do you do?
Oh, Raider is attacked.
So the Kobayashi Maru is attacking the Klingon freighter?
It's just a freighter. It is not
just a freighter.
Yep.
As in our first scenario, we should start this one with a scan. But I think we should, if we can, start heading towards the situation and also scan on the way there. So instead of hanging back to check it out, we should arrive.
Okay.
Yeah, because the cat would run up immediately.
Yeah, we should arrive and scan.
Alrighty. So you head towards the distress signal. Go ahead and give me a quick scan.
Okay.
To see what you get.
Here we go.
A 2. Okay.
Ooh, exciting.
Yeah, so you were able to scan. You do read a Federation starship, the Kobayashi Maru. You do know that it is an actual Federation starship. It's registered with the Federation. It's one of your ships. The freighter, you find out, is just a regular old freighter. It's doing sort of a back and forth, just freighter-y things, just carrying stuff. Like, it's under the Federation banner, so it is a Federation ship, but it's not like a Starfleet ship. It's just handling trade between 2 colonies that exist within the Federation or within a couple worlds.
It's reasonable to assume that it's crewed by Federation citizens.
Yeah.
That could be the Earth Commerce Authority. I think that's the ECS, like in the ECS Horizon. And,
oh yeah, like
something similar.
Okay, yeah.
And yeah, you can read that there are 20-something people on the freighter. You can't really get a read on what it's hauling. It's just currently hauling, but you can read a bunch of stuff in there, in like that it's a full freighter based on like the wake of its impulse engines, but you can't read inside of it. The hull of the freighter it's carrying heavy loads and whatnot, so it's a pretty thick, it's a beefy little freighter, so you can't really read inside of it other than the fact that you can pick up a few life signs.
Are they near any sort of planetary bodies? Is this open space? You said it's inside the neutral zone.
Yep, it's inside the neutral zone. You don't know exactly where they were coming or going. It's far enough away from any planets that you can't really gain anything. And so yeah, you arrive, you did your little scan, and you dropped out a warp in front of them, and sure enough, the scene looks exactly as the distress signal called. The freighter is kind of tutting along, and the Kobayashi Maru is a Crossfield class ship, and it's just kind of like hovering over it, like shooting at it with phasers.
Okay, so I think we should call the Kobayashi Maru and say, hey, what's going on here?
So you want to not answer the distress call immediately. You want to talk to someone who's supposed to be on our side first.
Well, these guys are an identified Federation ship. Is the Kobayashi Maru a Starfleet vessel or just Federation?
Starfleet vessel.
So we have authority over the Starfleet vessel, or theoretically, we're part of the
We should
power
be on
structure.
this thing, yeah.
And they're the ones doing the shooting, and I feel like if we need to get a good read on the situation, first we should see if we can stop that. And we're Caitians, so we're very loyal, which means probably we'll align with Starfleet first over strangers. And probably our tone should be more, hey, what's going on? This looks concerning, rather than, what are you doing?
Hey, bud.
Hey, buddy.
What's going on?
Plus, if we come across as a little airheaded, then they might tell us more than they think they are.
Cool, that's good.
Let us be underestimated.
We might need to be a little sneaky, so let's lay that groundwork.
Yeah. Okay. So we'd like to hail the Kobayashi Maru and essentially say, hey, buddy, what's up? Why are you shooting at these dudes?
All right. So you hail the Maru. You toss over a slightly befuddled but positive question to what's going on and why are they unloading on this small freighter for seemingly no reason. And they don't respond back with anything. They don't, like, you hail them and do the, you standing in front of the view screen type of thing. But you get no response back from a video call or anything like that. Instead, you just get back a single like text message basically that says leave the area immediately, with the captain's code from the other captain, as well as an additional code that you don't know the details of, but when it pops up on screen, it does note that it is a Starfleet intelligence access code or authentication code. But the message itself just says leave the area immediately. As you're reading that, another shot like hammers the guff and the thing, like the shields start to flicker and it's kind of limping along trying to get away.
In that case, we should kill the other ship.
All right, we'd like to.
If they don't want to talk about the other guys.
Hail the guff and take the same approach. Hey, buddies, what's up? Why are they shooting at you?
All right. They do come on screen, and just a very panic-stricken captain is like behind him. Like, it looks like the thing has been through hell. Pieces of the roof, random air duct pieces are hanging off behind him. There's smoke billowing out behind him. There's people running around back and forth trying to, put out fires and move things around. He's shaking a whole bunch as every time the phasers hit, and he just is pleading and just saying, like, we don't know what's happening. We are just carrying cargo, and we have no idea. They won't respond to our hails. We don't know what's happening. They just are opening fire and just won't stop.
Okay. Can we ask him what cargo he's carrying?
He's ferrying stuff between like more populated planets to more settler planets within the neutral zone. So they're taking like generic medical supplies. They're taking some rations. They're taking construction materials, stuff like that.
Okay. I'd like to ask him if he has any passengers. If he's taken on any new passengers or crew lately. Because now I'm worried that there might be a spy.
Nope, no passengers. This is the normal crew. He's been with them for years.
Okay.
He tells you he's just doing his job. He's just essentially a bus driver in this sector and has made this run a bunch of times and has no idea what's happening.
Okay. So, I think we need to get some more information out of the Kobayashi Maru, and I'd like to do it by annoying them until they have to pay attention to us. So can we contact them and say, hey, that last message didn't come through right. Could you send it again? It was all garbled. And then I'd like to do that 10 more times.
Can we do that while also getting immediately in their way?
Yes.
No, you can't do them at the same time, but you can definitely do one or the other.
What do you think? Should we maneuver in their way first and then send the message?
Send the message first.
Okay, I'd like to send the message that says, your last transmission didn't come through. Could you send again, please?
All right. And then you send it a bunch of times. They message back and say, like, hey, someone fell asleep with their elbow on the enter button. But no, so you send it a few times. You send back like half the information they sent. You try to, you're like, oh, the signal cut out, and I only got the first, 4 words of their 8-word message or whatever.
Was it a 3 or a 5?
And so sure enough, that gets their attention because they want you to leave. So pops up on the screen finally after a handful of these messages. And up on your screen pops up Captain Ahab of the Kobayashi Maru.
Oh man, okay.
He is clearly annoyed. He is in the middle of something that he believes is very important. and has this random ship kind of pop up and annoying him and trying to stop the thing he is in the middle of. He essentially reiterates the same message that they sent, rather than being quite as curt as leave the area immediately, and says, you must leave the area immediately, and then essentially kind of pulls rank on you a little bit. Like, you're both captains in this scenario, but he's been around the block quite a bit. So, he's got like that extra, he's wearing a uniform that maybe if it was dress uniform, he'd have some medals and stuff. He's been around the block a few times, and you're pretty green. So he kind of pulls rank and just says, you don't know what's going on here. This is above your station. You need to get out of here now before this ends badly for you two.
Oh, that's a threat. Mm-hmm. That's a threat. Are we in agreement that this is not the Starfleet way?
Yes.
Okay.
And I have thoughts, but I want to hear if you have thoughts first, because I've been driving the bus on this a little bit.
Okay. Mm-hmm. I like that. I would like to slip in between the two ships to protect it until we can figure out what's going on. But what did you have?
Because I'm pro putting our ship in the way of the freighter, because the freighter is having some problems.
And we should do that. We should do that quickly.
Yeah, we should do that. That should be our first action. Our second action after that is I want to try to tie up the Captain Ahab to see how much we can learn by making him irritated. Because a calm Captain Ahab is not going to tell us anything, but a Captain Ahab who is just deeply annoyed with us might let something slip.
Okay.
Okay.
So I feel like
then we'd like to raise our shields and maneuver ourselves between the Kobayashi Maru and the Duff.
In sort of a meandering sort of
So we might be able to pass this off as not quite on purpose.
Okay.
Or at least pass it off as us trying to pass it off, which might also be annoying. Because in case you haven't picked it up, that's what I'm moving into on this one.
I mean, very cat-like. I appreciate it.
Yep.
Okay, yeah, so we're going to go ahead and give me a... Yeah, we're going to go with a sneaky roll on this one, because you're trying to play it off as if it's not what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
So you're going to be sneaky here.
Okay.
It's going to be a difficulty 2. So.
Ooh, that's tough.
And a 2. You succeed.
Hey!
All right, so yeah, you thoroughly have Captain Ahab convinced that you are just utterly inept, and rather than sitting and hovering in space near them like any starship would do, you sort of lurch as if someone just forgot to turn off one of the thrusters, and you kind of just end up coasting in between them and the Guff.
Okay.
Well, you see, our ship is staffed entirely by Cajuns, and so the navigator was also distracted.
Yes.
Right. So you get in the way. He just pops up on the screen and he says, you are interfering with a vital intelligence operation. If you leave now, then I can assure that you will stay in Starfleet, but if you stay any longer, you may not.
Okay, so he's not threatening us physically, he's just threatening our careers?
At the moment, yes.
At the moment. Okay, that's we can work with that. You have any thoughts?
We need information out of him. Let's do your thing where you just annoy the hell out of him.
Okay. So we'd like to reply to Captain Ahab, and we're aiming for earnest and bumbling in our tone on this one. Apologies, Captain Ahab. We seem to be experiencing some small technical malfunctions, and I would like to nudge my comms officer to make some static noises into the microphone.
Holds up a piece of paper and starts crumpling it over the...
Yep.
Which doesn't work because it's a video call, so Captain Ahab can absolutely see.
He just sees the officer crumpling.
So he doesn't respond at this point. He feels he's given you enough of a warning, so he's gonna try to sort of move around. He's gonna maneuver around a little bit and just continue firing on the Guff. So he's gonna actually take a shot at the Guff. What are you gonna do in response to that, if anything?
This may be trying to do two things at once, so if we can only do one, we'll have to pick. But can we maneuver and contact the Guff at the same time, or do we need to do one per turn?
One or the other.
Okay, then I'd like to maneuver to protect the Guff.
Okay.
You good?
Yes.
Yes, then that's what we'll do.
All right, so yeah, it's gonna open fire, so it's gonna take its shot. You are going to roll quick because you were trying to sort of quickly get in the way of the shot that they are shooting.
Okay, here we go. Yeah. Oh, that's bad.
Oh, no.
Not great.
No, not great.
So in this case, this is not you getting hit because that would destroy you.
Yes.
Right.
I mean, that would be an end.
Yeah. But in this particular scenario, you were trying to beat them there.
Yeah.
So in this case,
do that.
yeah. So the Maru fires a full spread of torpedoes. You guys try to fire your thrusters and get there, but the things go right past, like right by your shields, right as you're about to get in the way. And all three just connect with the guff. The first one takes out its shields, the second one hits the top and like just sends sparks everywhere. The third one hits it, and instead of exploding, the entire thing just like sends electricity all over the entire guff, and the entire thing is just dead in the water at this point.
Okay, so that did not go well for us. What should we do next?
Why don't we wrap our shields around the guff?
Ooh, that's a good idea. I walk over to the person in charge of the shields and I pat him on the back real good.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it's flashy, but you absolutely can make that a team dynamics if you need to.
Let's try flashy, and we can use team dynamics if we need to.
Right, so you are trying to extend your shields around the guff to protect them. Their shields just got knocked out. So while you were doing that, the Maru is actually trying to beam all of the crew members that were on board the guff on board, as well as a bunch of stuff from the cargo bay. All right, so we're gonna see who gets there first. 3, 2, 1, go. And they do.
Man, Captain Ahab is having a great day.
Well, I mean, it makes up for all the earlier stuff, obviously, right? So you try to extend your shields. You are able to do it. However, by the time your shields actually get wrapped around the guff, they've already beamed off all of the crew, as well as quite a bit of stuff out of the freighter portion of the freighter.
Okay. Are they still trying to beam? So are their shields still down?
Their shields are down, yes, at the moment.
Can we beam ourselves onto their ship?
Our shields are still up. We just extended them, so they're...
Right.
That's true.
Yeah.
Would that be an allowable action for us to drop our shields and beam ourselves onto the ship?
Yeah. I mean, so at this point, Ahab is going to turn around and leave. So we can you can try to do that, and if you make it, then we can play that out. Otherwise, he's just going to kind of warp away. So.
Yeah, okay, let's turn that page.
All right, we want to beam ourselves onto the Kobayashi Maru.
All right.
Just us or a team of...
Well, I'm assuming the rest of us are holograms. Are we allowed to take them with us?
Yeah. You're going to try and beam over with a crew, with a away team.
Yeah, let's take the whole crew.
So.
We'll scatter.
Hold on, the whole crew?
The whole crew.
The entire crew complement. Okay.
Our ship's not going to do anything.
We have established that we are all Cajun on this. On this
so
ship.
we'll be great at scattering.
This is going to be amazing.
I'm the only one that can hurt us. Here we go.
Okay.
I'm on board. You won me over.
We want to leave like one person behind so they can send a message to Starfleet.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
You're still going to roll quick on this because you're still trying to beat them before they leave.
Yeah. Okay.
So let's roll. 3, 2, 1. Oh, so close.
Oh.
So you got a 3. Ahab got a 4. Which, considering as quick as a couple points higher than yours, that means you were very close.
Can we make a case for any of our aspects?
Sure. Yeah, I would say you could totally use team dynamics if you want.
I walk over and pat my transporter operator right on the back. You're doing a great job, buddy, and I believe in you.
Yeah, see, that is great team dynamics, and that is why Brian should let Ryan use that more often in exactly those types of situations. Brian. So you pat your transporter jeep on the back. It peps them up a little bit. We're gonna say you send six people over because that's how many fit in the transporter on a normal day.
So we are on the Kobayashi Maru with a crew of 6 cats.
Yes. So all 6 cats appear on the Kobayashi Maru. They are a little startled. They hit warp, so they leave your ship in the dust, and the 6 of you just go with them. They're a fairly competent crew of Starfleet officers, and you just boarded their ship without permission, so they quickly put up force fields and arrest you. There's no rolling or anything because so they arrest you, stick you in the brig.
Can I have it canonical that I yelled scatter as soon as we materialize, even if it doesn't actually work? Absolutely.
They are able to get the force fields up and trap you, but it absolutely takes them forever because you just are sitting in like the back of the vents and like in one of the cupboards, and it's just such a pain.
They have to pull at least one of us out from under a couch.
One couch in the cargo bay for some reason. So that's the end of this one. You all are captured. It turns out that Captain Ahab was operating under Starfleet orders. He was hunting down some supply lines for the Orion Syndicate. So the crew of the Guff were people that would just do traffics, but they were also part of the Orion Syndicate, which operates in the neutral zone, and were at that moment actually smuggling through a tiny bit of red matter.
Oh,
to be used as a weapon by the Orion Syndicate. So if they had made it through, that would have been very bad, because then they could have, created a black hole somewhere.
well, at least we didn't screw Captain Ahab up too much.
Yeah, so he captured all of them, took them under arrest. When they beamed the freight out of it, they were able to get that in a safe container and everything. And yeah, you guys make it back. They take you to Starfleet Brig, but y'all didn't die, so that's a plus.
Yep.
I believe at our court martial, I would like to tell a judge that we were highly distractible, and the phasers coming off of the Kobayashi Maru really
bright.
Us. So.
Yes, like laser pointers. Mm-hmm. I would also like to add that we were simply upholding our Starfleet duty to make sure no one died before we knew who the bad guys were, and I would like to apply my team dynamics to that.
Yeah. So as the instructors are ushering you off of the simulator, you're trying to still argue that, like, no, I'm using my team dynamics, and the instructor's like, yes, I hear you, it's fine, and kind of ushers you
I would like to pat the instructor firmly on the back and tell them they did a good job.
They appreciate it. Not many people tell them that after the Kobayashi Maru. So that will take you from like a C to a C+.
Awesome. I will take it.
So that is the end of that one. That is 2.
Wonderful.
So yeah, we will reset and do this final one. Do you want to do as the Binars or Captain DeChus?
Oh, I have a new character. I was really hoping that we would get to break out today.
All right, let's do that.
I would like it noted that I had no input in this character design, and that while I'm not doing this under protest, I'm at least doing it with a lot of eye rolling.
Okay, fair. All right. I mean, if that's the one you want to do with, we're just gonna modify the Cadet Cat one for the moment. Okay. So yeah, let's run through it. What's this third character? Gonna try the experimental simulation.
So I have come up with an Orion / Andorian mix called Captain Shrek.
So he's a big green dude with antennas.
Yep, I'm on board. Yeah, I may have to try to pitch for an Ensign Ogre at some point in the show. I don't know if we can do fictional animals, since we just are doing lots of actual animals at the moment. Okay, so we have Captain Shrek. Love it. So what are the aspects? What is Captain Shrek like?
Well, he's fiercely loyal to his own in-group. So whether that is, amongst other Starfleet officers or among other of his own species.
Okay. I think that's a trouble, because that could get them into trouble.
Ah.
Well, I was thinking my trouble would be that they act before thinking.
Yeah, so they're very impulsive.
Yeah, impulsive would be, All
right. Let's do impulsive as the third one, because I think impulsive can be used more positively, I think, than fiercely loyal. I mean, in reality, we can kind of do either.
We can argue either way.
Yeah.
And what would you like your high concept to be?
What is the broad strokes? What is Captain Shrek?
Yeah, let's say your high concept is you like to take a sideways approach to every situation. So you never want to come at things straight on. You're always looking for another way in.
Yeah. Well, he would be very unconventional if that was.
Yeah, unconventional works.
Right.
Yeah, that works for us.
All right, yeah, unconventional thinker. Wow, that is spelled so wrong. There we go. Thanks, Google.
Well, as we're only audio, it's spelled however we think it should be spelled.
Very true. Alrighty, so let's do the approaches. What is
Are we doing 2-1-1-1-0-0 again?
We'll do. Yeah, we're gonna say Captain Shrek's been around a little while. We'll do 2 2s, 3 1s, and a 0.
So I would definitely say Clever is 2. I think he'd go for Flashy before he goes to sleep.
Well, we haven't had a Flashy character. You wanna go Flashy?
So 2 for Flashy, 2 for Clever.
Mm-hmm. 2 Clever, 2 Flashy.
That's a terrible.
That's a showman.
Let's see. All right, so 0 Sneaky, 1 everything else.
Alrighty.
Awesome.
All right, so yeah, Cadet Shrek walks in, sits down. It is stardate 16-314.6. You are currently traveling at warp 3 past the Clayton Nebula en route to Embry 5. Your ship, the Kobayashi Maru, has picked up an unidentified distress signal or an unidentified message from your previous location. The message provides no information, but does contain your personal access code. What do you do?
The cadet's personal access code. So this is someone who knows him personally?
Or is calling you specifically.
Okay.
Well, based on our characterization of impulsive, I'd say you turn around and go back.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, you turn around and go back. The message is not super far away, but it's still pretty far. It's outside. It's a little outside of scanning range. So you turn around and head that direction. You arrive at the location of where the signal seems to have come from, and you don't really see anything. On the way, though, you have this like sharp pain in your leg, like in your left leg and like the thigh area, like just real intense sharp pain that kind of like fades, and then you have just sort of this tingling sensation all over your leg. But you've now arrived at the location, and currently you don't really see anything. It just looks like normal space.
Okay, so we've arrived at the source of the signal. Our leg hurt mysteriously, and was there anything else?
Nope. Other than that, you don't currently see anything out there at the moment.
Okay.
I think in the equivalent of slamming open a door and just bursting through, Captain Sharek would immediately hail out in all frequencies, in all directions, say, "What do you want? Who's calling me?"
Okay.
All right. So you send out just a sort of an open comms message, just saying, "Hello, how you doing? Get back to me," type thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can we throw in a "Hey, why's my leg hurt"?
You ring.
That's more alerts than Shrek.
So yeah, so you send out that message, and nothing seems to happen. You just kind of shoot out in the ether, and no one seems to respond.
Okay, I would like to scan for the source of the signal.
Alrighty. Are you scanning for something in specific, or are you just scanning generic space, or are you trying to like do something with the message specifically?
No, I'd say the general scan to see if there's literally anything in the vicinity.
Okay.
Okay. That's going to be a careful roll.
Rogues or ships
Okay.
or planets or something.
Then goes careful.
All right. Difficulty 1 and a 4. So you scan the crap out of it, and a generic scan shows nothing out of the ordinary. It looks like there's no ships. There's no asteroids. It, for all intents and purposes, seems like sort of empty space. You get some weird readings, but it's tough to really tell what it is. You also pick up your own warp signature from the time you passed earlier. You get some weird sort of echo stuff that you can't really tell, but for the most part, it looks like normal empty space. There's no ships. There's no beacons. There's nothing that seems to be sending out a message.
Okay, but the message is there.
Like we heard it, but it's not still repeating or anything, is it?
You got it like it came and you received it, and that was it wasn't like a distress signal that was constantly repeating. It was just a single distress message that kind of like came in.
Okay, so I have a clarification question.
Okay.
About the leg pain. Did it happen en route or after we'd arrived at the place where we were scanning?
Happened en route.
Okay.
It happened pretty soon after you got the message originally.
Can we?
And speaking of that, in the time as you were running the scan, the sort of tingling sensation kind of spread a little bit. So now it's most of your left leg, a little bit into your like waist area. Instead of just tingling, there's a little bit of pain, not super sharp, but in the leg is kind of like starting to feel a little bit more.
Well, I would like to set the narrative that my cadet is on the bridge and just befuddled, and he's standing looking at the screen, and there's nothing there. So he turns and walks back to the captain's chair and rubs his leg. Maybe one of the other officers makes a comment. Anything wrong? And then it forces that thought back to our head. So now we have to really think about it. Mm-hmm. So we decide this is all unusual. So
go see if it happens again.
That would be to resume our previous heading. We'd pass right back through that point again.
But I'm specifically wanting to go to the point where my legs started hurting.
Then, of course, we go back where we came to pass through that same point.
Yeah.
While he's rubbing his leg gingerly on the captain's chair.
So yeah, you turn around, you head back on your previous course. The pain again continues to sort of like spread a little bit. Now the tingling sensation is sort of in the entire lower half of your body and up into your like midsection some. The pain is starting to grow. It's starting to get a little sharper. Nothing stands out. When I say that it's increasing, I'm noting different levels of it, but it's sort of constantly sort of increasing.
There's no point of like sudden onset the way there was on the 2 journey.
Correct. It first hit you, and then it just has sort of been getting slightly worse as time is going past. So it continues that. It doesn't feel like it's changed. It just continues on as it normally would.
Okay, so time for medical intervention.
Can we stop the ship at this general location and call for the doctor to come up to the bridge?
Yeah, absolutely.
Works for me. Okay, then yeah, that works for me.
I mean, as we joke, the doctor is always on the bridge for no reason whatsoever. So.
Yes.
Yeah, so it sounds like you do an all stop. You call the doctor to the bridge. The doctor comes up to the bridge. I'm assuming you want them to check you out in some way, shape, or form.
Yes, please. We would like a specific scan to figure out the source of the tingling and pain.
Okay. You're just trying to do a generic scan for the tingling and pain, so that's going to be a clever roll again. It's going to be difficulty 1.
Okay.
And a 2, you succeed. So the doctor scans your leg. Go ahead. At this point, the tingling is sort of like now up to your neck. The pain is getting pretty harsh, and you're telling the doctor this. So they scan, your whole body. They're doing the whole thing. When they scan your leg, they can find nothing physically wrong. It does not look like there's no cell damage that they can tell. Like you don't have a cut there. When they do like a light brain scan with the tricorder, they see increased levels of electrical output. It definitely seems like your brain is registering that there is pain in your body, but there seems to be nothing physical wrong with you. It's not that you're not imagining the pain. It's just a matter of like they can't find anything physically wrong with your leg right now on a normal medical scan. But they do believe you that you are in pain.
I think in character he would be concerned that other people on the crew might also be in pain and would ask someone on the bridge to ask all departments to report if is there anybody else who is
you check in, everyone checks in. There are no reports of anybody else having anything like this on the ship.
Okay, so this is specifically about us.
Okay.
That feels like it ties somehow to getting a call with just our number on it.
Yes.
In this time, like your whole body head to toe is now starting to feel achy, very sharp pain.
Okay. The doctor says nothing physically wrong with us, so we're not actually dying. We're just suffering. Yes.
Yeah, I mean it was a normal medical scan. Like there's no like stab wound into your leg or something.
Okay.
There's nothing that a normal medical scan would have gotten off of that. So
chances are good. We've got a little time to figure this out. I mean, you can hurt to death, but we don't seem to be actively dying in the next minute.
So as that thought is passing through your mind,
it turns out we can in fact hurt to death.
The pain gets very severe, and I mean I don't know your lives, but if you've ever had like a real extreme moment of pain for whatever happened, like it just hurts real bad, sort of your eyes go white for a second, like just you get this real sharp pain in your leg, your eyes go white for a second, and it is stardate 16314.6. You are currently traveling at warp 3 past the Clayton Nebula en route to Embry 5.
Time loop!
Did we just do it?
Your ship, the Kobayashi Maru, has picked up an unidentified distress message from your previous location. The message provides no information on the distress, but does contain your personal access code. What do you do?
Time loop! Time loop! What do you think?
Oh boy, this is very complicated.
Do we have any memory of the
simulator.
previous events?
You do, yes.
Okay.
You remember everything at the moment.
Does anyone else on the crew?
So you ask around, and no one else seems to know what you're talking about. You ask multiple people on the bridge, no one seems to. You call a few people, the friend that you play Domjot with, no one seems to know. While you're talking with people and trying to find out, you have the sharp pain that kind of like pops up in your leg.
And we
just real
haven't
sharp for a
done
second.
anything
Yeah.
for traveling. So it's time-based, not space-based. Does that make sense?
Yeah, we never.
Doesn't matter where we are. It was going to happen wherever we were.
Did it happen a little faster this time? Because we just received the distress
Yeah,
call.
it does seem like it happened a little faster this time.
The timescales are a little fluid. I'm just sort of winging
So
it.
that's a slight wild goose chase there.
Okay, just want to make sure we're going down a different route.
Absolutely.
But am I right, if you can tell us this, and it's okay if you can't, am I right that it's not based on where we are in space?
That's something you'd have to investigate.
Okay, so
Right.
not information we have, got it. So just to check, the doctor's instruments have no records of the scan they did on us,
Correct.
showing the increased electrical activity.
Yeah, the electrical activity was just confirmation that it wasn't an imagination thing.
Yeah, but they don't have like scan 256. Captain has high electrical activity.
Right. No,
This
none of
is
that.
in their logs. Okay, so this is either a true time loop, time travel,
Or a Q is messing with
or
us.
or it's all in our heads. It's probably not a true. I don't think we'd have any actual memory of it if it were a true time loop. So I'm going to come down on a we've been kidnapped and this is a simulation. What do you think? What would Shrek do?
Good sentence.
Those are some wristbands. I do not want to lie.
Well, I mean, he tried turning around and looking at it,
Mm-hmm.
and he didn't find anything.
We didn't find anything doing a sort of normal scan of the area like you normally would do.
Do you think he would assume that's all the information he could get, or would he go back and try a different kind of scan?
I think he would immediately stop the ship and raise the shields.
Okay, we stop the ship, we raise the shields.
All right, you've done the thing.
Okay, what next? Do you want to call the doctor immediately this time?
Yes, to see if it's still registering
Increased electrical activity.
electrical activity.
Okay, yeah. So we'd like to call the doctor again and have him scan us.
Great.
And as we're explaining to the rest of the crew
what we perceive
Yeah.
happen.
Yeah. And I'm following TNG rules where the writers had to make interpersonal conflict avoidable at all costs, so they all believe you. Like this isn't like you don't have to train. You tell them what you're experiencing, and they go like, "Well, Captain's not crazy, right?" So they listen. So yeah, so the doctor comes back up onto the bridge. They do the same medical scan they did before. Same result. There's nothing seemingly physically wrong with you. The pain, they're there pretty quickly this time. You had the pain and you had the tingling, but it's not nearly as bad as it was the last time. The sort of increased electrical activity, from what you can tell, seems to sort of match that, right? Like you were in a lot of pain by the time they scanned you last time, and it showed a lot of electricity. You're in a little less pain, it shows a little less. So it seems like your feelings are normal in that way.
Okay.
But again, they don't register anything physically wrong with you that a normal medical scan will find.
Okay. So
has the pain been increasing since we raised the shield? It is still.
Yeah, it's still flowing.
It was diminished, but it is still increasing even then.
It's diminished right now simply because
we got the doctor up now.
It's earlier in the loop at this point.
Yeah, so we're doing the same.
You don't notice any difference in how fast it's spreading with the shields up.
Okay. Can we ask the doctor if there's anything he can do to normalize the electrical activity?
Well, again, the electrical activity is just to sort of confirm the pain.
How about a Tylenol for the pain?
You want a space Tylenol?
Yes.
All right. Shrek requests a space Tylenol.
All right. The doctor gives you a hypo spray of space Tylenol.
Now, did the hyper spray do anything?
The tingling sensation has not changed. No, not really. Like the tiniest amount, maybe, but it's not discernible. And again, it's continually getting worse, so whatever relief it may have given you easily gets overtaken in a few moments. So.
I guess I want to scan.
Yeah, I want to scan specifically to see if there are any signals currently coming in to the ship.
Okay. Are you trying to see if this is like something from another ship? Are you trying to see if this is...
Yeah, especially since it seems to be only affecting me. I want to see if anyone has like a microwave gun pointed at me, I guess.
Any sort of targeted radiation or targeted...
Yeah, just anything weird pointed at me. So kind of scan me specifically.
Okay. Yeah, so this is going to be... Since you're looking... I'm going to say that you're looking for specific like weird particles, because you've done scans to show that like it's not
There's
just
not
some,
like a radio.
Yeah, like it's not some radio signal or something. It's something a little wonkier than that. So you're gonna go ahead and roll clever.
Okay.
It's gonna be a difficulty 2.
Ah.
A 3. All right. So you do the scan of yourself. You said you're scanning mostly yourself and sort of seeing if anything is incoming. You don't find any incoming signals or something that would be like a weapon that's being used on you or anything like that. You do get some weird quantum temporal timey-wimey type of readings.
Wibbly wobbly?
Yeah, a little bit of wibbly wobbly stuff going on that seems to be impacting you, and like you can't get an exact picture, like it's not like you can see just like an actual image of it, but it seems like the readings that are a little funky are at you and then seem to continue to be funky in the direction of the message that you received.
Okay.
Okay. I'd like to test to see if getting further away from the message would decrease the pain. Since apparently heading in that direction, we passed the point where pain increased.
Okay. Let's try the opposite of what we did before.
So laying a course directly away from the message.
So you turn the ship, head back the opposite direction as where the message originated. The pain continues to grow at the same speed. There
Okay.
does not seem to be any sort of change. At this point, the pain is throughout most of your leg. The tingling is most of your upper body. It's pretty far along at this point.
Okay.
It's interesting that it starts in the thigh, right? So left
Yeah, it
thigh.
starts in my leg.
Yeah, your left leg. Yep, your left thigh.
Okay, so I have two ideas. Let me know if you like either of them.
Okay.
One, do a specific scan for life forms. We haven't done that yet. And two, change course and try to get something physical between us and the place the message came from. And see if either one of those things provides.
I'll knock out the second one. Based on where you are, you're not going to be able to get any sort of planet or anything before.
Gotcha.
Before
Plus,
you
it's
loop.
going through the ship.
Yeah.
Probably
And
physically
shields.
And shields.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what do you think? Scan for life forms?
Sure.
Do you want to scan me specifically, or all along the track towards where the message originated?
We start scanning the ship first, and then expand it in the direction of the message.
Okay.
So I assume that they would be on our ship or a ship between us.
Okay, so we want to start with a scan specifically of our ship for life forms that aren't us.
Okay.
It seems like if we're being targeted, they can see.
Well, I was thinking tiny parasites, really.
Tiny parasites.
Time parasites.
Oh, what about parasites? We're a tiny parasite.
Yeah. No.
Right. So to scan for life forms, go ahead and give me a careful roll.
Okay.
Difficulty 0 in this case. 2. Yeah, you succeed. No life forms that you can tell. There doesn't seem to be anything.
Okay, so it seems like we are just doing time shenanigans. All right, that was my idea. What's up with you next? We tried running away. We haven't snapped back yet, and our leg hurts a lot.
I'm trying to think of what would be unconventional.
It's
So
hard,
far,
it's hard to be an actual unconventional thinker, isn't it?
It's hard to be that on command for sure.
Well, I mean, we've crossed off most of the options we can do without going back to the message.
Could you repeat the type of results that we did get? You said there was quantum.
Weird quantum temporal stuff, timey-wimey and wibbly-wobbly.
Correct. Yep. Yeah, when they were doing the scan of you specifically, looking beyond just normal medical stuff, they found that there was just some weird sort of time dilation, sort of out of phase type of quantum signature stuff that was a little wonky. Couldn't really nail it down. You weren't doing a scan specifically for temporal stuff. In that case, you were just looking for anything out of the ordinary. And from what you could tell, the weird results that you were getting seemed to be stronger in you, but then also sort of existed within space or space-time, like the fabric of space-time, like going towards the place that the message popped up as well.
In Star Trek, we have seen a couple of examples of things being sort of out of phase with the characters. Kind of your thought of the episode of Voyager with the experiments. TNG had the Davidians, I think? No, they were on Davidia.
Yeah, Lividia.
Something like that. Remember Data had to do the quantum discriminator and then
the time, that was Time Zero, I believe.
Yeah. So they were just out of phase with our reality.
There's also the one with the Romulans and the smiley faces.
Yeah, the warp core explosion.
That was time frozen, I think.
Yeah, but still, two different times.
Oh, do you remember there was a TNG where they had little suction parasite thingies?
No.
Like on their. My other Crusher had one on her sleeve, and she had to like wave a thing over there, and it revealed it.
I do not remember that one, and it sounds gross.
It is gross. That's the Data has nightmares one. It's a super creepy episode.
Oh, that's the one with the men frosting.
Yeah.
Right.
The peptides.
Right.
Okay, well, I think maybe we should scan for anything that might be just temporarily out of phase with us.
Okay, so is there such a thing as a temporal scan? If so, can we carry one out?
Yes, I can. You can absolutely do a temporal scan. I will. If you're looking for something like those peptide things, you already did a life form scan. So if there was something like that, I would have said yes at that point.
Yes.
So.
So we're just looking for anything else that's wibbly wobbly and timey wimey.
Okay, so you're going to do, what are you scanning? Are you scanning you? Are you scanning the space? Are you want to go back and scan where the message came from? Like,
focused on us, I want to scan me first.
Our general vicinity here on the ship.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yes. So you go ahead and scan specifically for temporal stuff. You're being clever about it because you're thinking about what it could possibly be and piecing that together to scan for specific things. So it's going to be a clever, it's going to be a difficulty 2.
Is there any chance that we would get more information if we used unconventional finger?
We have to roll first.
Yeah, try rolling. If you meet it, then you should be fine.
Okay.
But if not, then you can.
And this was a difficulty 2?
Yep.
Okay, here we go. Ooh.
Do you want to use one of your aspects?
Conventional thinking?
Yeah, I'd like to. Oh boy. Because what if this is not even the right path to go down?
More information is better than what we're going to get out of this scan.
Yeah, that's true. I guess we'll have to try our unconventional thinker because, Shrek saw all those episodes of Star Trek.
Now he's giving it a shot.
Mm-hmm. All right, I like it. So you're unconventional thinking. You're trying to think in ways that most people wouldn't. This is obviously something that's not really been seen. It's not showing up on any normal scan, so it's not something you normally check for. But you're looking specifically for temporally stuff, and you do pick up weird temporal things. You get what almost looks a little bit like a string made out of particles that seems to be like sort of stretching from you and out of the ship. The particles seem to sort of like be embedded in your leg, as you can see. It's sort of the best way to put it. It's like there's just these little, like these temporal particles of some kind that are sort of moving around excited, and they're in your leg, and then they kind of like stretch out as if a big ball of particles had been like just stretched to the size of a tiny strand of filament, thread almost, like coming from you towards the message that you had.
I was about to ask if we ran into a quantum filament.
That could be something that describes it. Yes, some sort of temporal quantum filament.
As I walk around, it's still stuck to my thigh. It's in the same place.
You scanned and it sort of gives you a quick picture. It's not like a real-time thing. It's not following. So you see that it's there, but it's where the pain is. And as you got the results of that scan, the pain at this point is kind of spread. It overtakes you, and it's 16,314.6.
You snapped back.
And you are currently traveling at warp 3 past the Clayton Nebula en route to Embry 5. Yada,
Okay.
yada, yada. And you get your distress signal. What are you doing?
We should all stop.
Immediately.
Yes.
All right, you all stop.
I'd like to, because now we're at the beginning of this.
Yeah.
I'd like to scan to see if
You want to do the temporal scan?
Same scan.
Okay.
Scanning myself and also the space, between us and where that message. Because at this point, we've memorized the location of where the message comes from.
Yeah.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
We know this.
Yeah.
So I'd like to know if the quantum filament thing is still out there, and if it's intercepting my thigh or not, or ship's thigh or not.
Okay. So yeah, we'd like to scan both ourselves and the surrounding area in the direction of the message with the temporal scan we used last.
Okay, you can do that. At the moment, I will note that you're outside of scanning range from where the message originated. Do you want to turn around and head towards it?
Let's start with ourselves first.
Okay. I'm not going to make you roll for that. You do the same scan and you get the same result.
Okay.
The first scan you did, you were sitting on the bridge in the captain's chair, and it showed the screenshot of the filament sort of stretching from your leg. Now you're in the ready room because you were explaining everything to people, and it looks the exact same coming from the same spot in your leg. So it looks like it moves with you. It doesn't look like it's like in a spot on the ship. It seems like it's attached to you directly.
Okay.
This almost feels like some sort of something out of our dimension is playing, is fishing, and we've been caught by some sort of temporal hook.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I got.
Did our scan tell us what the filament was made of?
I mean, like as best technobabble as I'm going to be able to come up with, it's just some like temporal quantum filament.
Okay.
Okay.
You don't really need to know more than that.
I want to try to follow it.
Mm-hmm.
Will we need to scan continuously, like kind of like echolocation, where we just?
You could do that. I will note that at this point you've run the scan multiple times on yourself. Like you can triangulate at this point because you've run that scan a few times, and you can kind of see that the line that's coming off of you is going directly to the spot where the message originated, which you've been to before, and so you recognize sort of where it is at this point. You don't need to like keep scanning to find it. You know where it's coming from.
Okay.
All right.
Well, since we can't run the temporal scan from that far away, I do want to see what's at the other end of this.
Yeah, I want to know what's at the other end.
Yes. So I think we should
follow that line
and change course and head towards that same message point. See if there's, now that we know what kind of scan to run, maybe
we can get some more information once we're there. Okay. Yeah.
Alrighty.
So we'd like to go back to the message origination point.
Perfect. You turn around, you head back. While you were explaining stuff when they were doing the original scans, your leg started to hurt, started to spread. By the time you arrive there, you have sort of a dull pain in your leg, and I would say probably like the lower half of your body is tingly at this point.
Okay.
Again, the spread is, whether you're traveling to it or further or whatever, the spread hasn't seemed to change.
It's been the same all 3 times. Nothing we've done has impacted it in any way.
Right. Thus far, yeah, definitely not. So it's more of a clock than the clock is tracking it type of thing. So
yeah.
So you arrive at the location. Currently, you don't see anything on your view screen. It sounds like you want to do a scan for it specifically.
Yes, we'd like to do the temporal scan here in this location.
All right. You're going to use Clever again.
Okay. Here we go.
It was difficulty 2. So you met it. You did 3. So you get the same sort of like snapshot that you can see, and sure enough, out there in space, there seems to be this. Imagine like sort of what you see like representative of an atom, right? Where you see a bunch of electrons flying around in all directions. It looks a little bit like that. It's a little more star-shaped, as if it has poking prongs all different directions, and is just tons of little particles, quantum temporal particles flittering around, but it seems to be sort of in this little ball that's sort of shooting little angles. One spot on it looks dark, as opposed to the rest of it that's pretty lit up and shooting particles all different directions that are sort of staying enclosed within this little star shape. And the one spot that's sort of darkish, you can make out that it almost seems like one of those little star pokey things that comes out that's kind of going in all directions. One of them has been like stretched, and it seems to be coming all the way towards your ship at that point. From that, you kind of deduce that is kind of attached to you at this point.
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to see if I can reattach these elements.
Do you have anything in mind beyond taking us physically to the place and seeing if it unhooks itself, or do you have a specific procedure you want to try to unhook it?
Captain Chirac doesn't play 3D chess so many steps ahead. He's gonna go straight for the thing and see what happens.
We want to fly straight at the dark spot, like aim my thigh at the dark spot and see what happens.
All right, you taking the Maru in?
Yes.
All right. So yeah.
Blow right up.
Yep. I'm not gonna make you roll for that. Right as you start to move towards it, this is not tying to the fact that you started moving. This is just you've been in the area now. You actually start to move faster than your engines are normally, so it feels like you're kind of being pulled a little bit as well as your engine's pushing you towards it. And yeah, you come up right up to it. You get sort of this faint outline of what looks sort of like a bubble, but it doesn't look like a bubble that you can see. It's just you can make out the edges of weird space-time warping, which is smaller than the ship, but your ship just goes right up to it and goes into it, and then fitting with the timey-wimey stuff, the bubble like sort of envelops you, and it's much bigger on the inside than you ever thought it would be. Quickly on the view screen, you see what looks to be the best example I could give is if you were looking at someone took 1,000 pictures of the Kobayashi Maru from different angles and then put them all in Photoshop and layered them on top of each other with like weird opacity stuff. So like you just see all of these Kobayashi Marus everywhere kind of converging onto one spot in the center. You are getting pulled towards the same spot. Once you're inside the bubble, once it kind of like pulls you in and you're within this sort of timey-wimey stuff going on, the pain shoots up real fast. As soon as you got into it, it just starts to hurt really bad, and you are only conscious for a few moments seeing this on your screen before it is 16.314.6, and you are traveling at warp 3 towards Embry 5.
That did not work. Now, I know we were on the very edge of consciousness, but did we notice if any of the Kobayashi Marus looked different, or were they all just mirror images of each other?
They looked exactly the same. There were none that had like a third nacelle and.
Nobody looked like they'd been in a fist fight with the board.
Right. Yeah. There was no Shrek with a giant beard and anything. So.
Yeah. So I think I'm gonna go with those are just reflections of ourselves, not actual other dimensions. More like we got caught in the time hall of mirrors.
I am afraid that I'm gonna have to do something very unconventional.
What do you want to do?
I'm gonna have to amputate my leg.
All right.
Captain Shrek would like to chop his own leg off.
All right. All right. So yeah, you're gonna go down to medical, I guess.
So to check, do we want to go straight to chop your own leg off, or do we want to try to scoop out the affected part first?
Nope.
Okay, we're chopping our own leg off.
You're impulsive.
Then what? Are we pitching it out of the ship?
We're gonna put it in the shuttlecraft. This is the long-term
You
plan.
want to put your leg in a shuttlecraft?
Yeah, we're gonna try to push the shuttlecraft at that same area.
Can I, your first officer, recommend an escape pod?
Put the leg in the escape pod?
Yes. Those are cheaper than the shuttlecraft.
Hold on.
Well, we don't use money in the future, so.
That's true.
You're concerned about wasting the resources
I am.
of an escape pod.
What if this
While
works
you're
when we're down a
captain.
shuttlecraft?
What?
We're very attached to that shuttle.
I'm assuming
Alright,
we don't have very many.
Well,
One of us has to be.
Let's first see if you can convince the doctor to chop off your leg, despite
Right.
them not being able to find anything medically wrong with you. So.
We can do the temporal scan to show him the timey-wimey fish hook thing.
This is true. You can do that.
Yes.
But while we are this early in the next cycle, I want to go ahead and get this done as fast as possible.
Yeah, okay. So, yeah, we want to do this right away. We head
Okay.
straight for medical,
Yep.
armed with our scan evidence to convince the doctor to amputate our leg.
All right. Yeah, you're still gonna have to convince them,
Okay.
just because even that, like, the doctor's also the only one on the ship that can outrank you. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is gonna be flashy because you're putting on a show. You're trying to convince at this point. So.
We're being big, we're being flashy, and I want
Yep.
to see if we can tie in our fiercely loyal to a group.
Well, I would hope that Captain Shrek has shown this fierce loyalty to the group in the past,
Yes.
and that now it is time to reciprocate.
And we can also reassure the doctor that if this is not the true solution to our problem,
Mhm.
the leg will be reattached very shortly.
Yes.
Right. So that's the thing you're trying to convince them of, is essentially that.
If we're wrong, it doesn't matter. If we're right, then we've saved the ship from a horrible timely fate.
Yeah. So it would normally be a 3, but you did have the evidence from things, so I'm gonna make it a difficulty 2.
Okay,
Point,
and we're
so.
doing flashy?
Yep, flashy.
Okay.
A 3. All right. So
Chop our leg off.
yeah, the doctor is very surprised at the request. You show the evidence. They are not completely convinced, but eventually they acquiesce, and sure enough, they put you under. You're still in pain, so it actually takes a little more anesthesia than usual. And yeah, they chop Captain Shrek's leg right off.
Okay.
At the thigh, where the hook was.
Right. Yeah, they took the whole leg. Like, they took
Okay.
right at the joint, like right at the hip joint. So the entire leg comes off.
Mm-hmm.
They put it into sort of a little containment thing, like a jar, right? Like a very big jar with a force field, like containment type thing.
Cool.
They cauterize you up, as you know, space medicine will allow them.
They give me a weird space wheelchair that for some reason only
Communicates in beats.
I don't know why.
And so yeah, a little time passes because you just underwent pretty major surgery. But they revive you. You come to. It's been a little bit of time. It hasn't been very much though.
Okay.
You come to. You don't have any sort of tingling sensation inside of you.
Okay.
You have some pain, but it's more
Obviously.
so it's more so I just had my leg amputated pain as opposed to quantum filament stuck in my thigh pain.
Okay.
And so yeah, so the immediate pain from that as well as the tingling seems to be gone. And your
Okay.
leg is sitting on the other side of the room in a containment tube at the
Next
moment.
step. We load your leg into
An escape pod.
an escape pod and launch it back towards the origin of the message?
No, we're not. We're gonna actually put it inside of a probe and shoot it out like a torpedo.
Okay,
We're gonna aim that.
We put it in a probe, and
Okay.
we launch it towards. Oh, so it can collect data. That's nice.
Mm-hmm.
We launch it back towards the message thingy.
All right.
That weird sphere area where the
Gotcha. Where you went in.
And we cross our fingers
Or the
that
bubble.
we don't time loop.
Mm-hmm.
So at this point, when we started this loop, I think you did an all stop and then had your leg amputated.
Yes.
Yes.
So at this point, you're about where you were when you first got the message, and you're launching it back towards it, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
We don't actually intend to hit the thing with it because that didn't seem to do too well for us. But, we figure we might as well keep it close. But off the ship.
Yeah, so it's on a probe, so it can't go like warp speed, so it can't get there instantaneously, but it's still good. It can still get most of the way there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you load it in the tube, launch the probe. You're getting readings as it's coming. The probe is flying like normal or whatever. It gets most of the way. It doesn't quite reach it, and then it is stardate 16314.6.
Take it. And your legs is his leg reattached?
You are standing on both legs on the bridge. However, in this instance, you look around and everyone else is looking around and seems to be confused. They all seem to be feeling some sort of sense of deja vu, major deja vu.
All right. So we
fact-
did achieve something.
Okay.
In fact, multiple of them seem to remember some crazy thing about the captain getting their leg removed for some reason.
Okay.
They seem to have some sense of something with time is going on. They aren't completely sure what, but they were able to tell that something is going on, and they all felt it at this point.
Okay. Does the doctor remember why he chopped our leg off, or do we have to convince him again?
No, the doctor remembers.
Okay, awesome. I think we should chop our leg off again, and this time shoot it away from the thing.
Well, did we
No, that
break
is the loop. We still looped, but the crew now remembers the loop instead of it just being
Correct.
them.
Yeah.
So in some ways, we seem to have made the loop worse.
So the loop, it still happened.
Yeah.
But rather than the loop being solely you, everybody seems to sort of it seems like everybody else is kind of out of the loop a little bit. Like it happened, but people remember the time that went by.
So this comes down to the mechanics of time loops here in this one.
Then we should wait to see if the captain gets any sort of leg pain, or if anyone
You
else
do.
also.
Leg pain. There we go.
Yep, leg pain hits. No one else feels leg pain. But they all but when you say my leg hurts, they all go like last time. They all recognize what's happening at this point.
Okay. So we did something, but I don't know what we did.
So we're immediately at the beginning of this loop. We all stop.
We got the message. Our leg hurts.
Yeah, everybody kind of remembers what happened.
I think we should do another temporal scan to see if we're still the only one affected by the filament, or if everyone else has a connection as well. Okay. Or if anything else has changed about our immediate, in the ship vicinity temporal situation.
Makes sense. Sure.
Okay, so let's scan again.
Don't make a roll. You do the same scans, and you get back the same data as before. You pick up the filament. You see the filament stretching towards there. However, now that you've run that scan a couple times from different distances from it, you can kind of make out that there does seem to be some sort of distance factor. Its distance overall is lessened the further away you get, but it seems to be tied heavily to the filament in the leg. Like the leg is trying to pull back to reconnect to the overall anomaly.
Okay.
And that filament can stretch so far. So there is a certain distance that the filament can go, has a set distance. Like beyond that, it may not have an effect. But you were outside of there already once.
And I still snap back.
And you still snap back. But the captain was, like, you were still on the ship with everybody when it snapped back.
Okay.
So that's about the information that you get. The time it takes you to run that information again, you were traveling and everything, and you reset at this point. So you're back. You're back to where you first got the message.
Okay. Does the crew remember this loop?
They remember nothing from this loop.
Okay, so they are completely back to, from their perspective, nothing has happened. We just got a message.
Correct.
Okay. So, chopping off our leg and throwing it off the ship meant that the crew remembered that we were looping, which would give us magnified Groundhog Day potential here if we keep doing it. Last time, we were holding still when we launched the leg.
More good sentences.
Oh man. Okay.
I'm still curious as to know what the seal was about. I feel like there's something there.
Yeah, I know, but I also want us to stop looping.
Mm-hmm.
Because we can always come back and figure it out. I'm assuming if we manage to escape the loop, the leg itself will still be looping. So yeah, we can get outside the area of effect.
I mean, you can always try it, and if it doesn't work,
we'll just loop. Yeah. There's not really a cost to just wing it out of here.
Okay, let's try that.
Okay, so we would like to, and I don't know how many steps this will take, but we'll just let you know the overall plan. We would like to amputate our leg again, pop it into what do you think, the fastest thing we can? No, it doesn't really matter. Pop it into a thing, shoot it off the ship, and then
run like hell.
Run like hell.
All right. Yeah, no, I'm not going to make you roll for it. And yeah, that absolutely works. You amputate the leg, you put it in a shuttlecraft, which is a little faster than a probe is, send the thing at full impulse power towards the anomaly. You guys are at the edge at that moment, so it takes off and starts heading towards it. The ship turns around and bolts the other way, getting well outside of the area with which it looked like the filament would have an effect. And yeah, the leg travels pretty close. Some time passes, about the amount of time that you remember it hurt and built up in pain, but not any additional time or anything. And then nothing seems to happen, except on your long-range sensors, you suddenly see a shuttlecraft appear out of nowhere, right around the spot where you received the message, and then it just...
Wow. That's a little horrifying. I love it.
And you have escaped the time loop.
We've escaped the time loop, and the time loop is still there, so we can study it.
And we have a spare shuttlecraft now, because we...
Yeah. you have a shuttlecraft that will never age for at least a long time. But yeah, congratulations, you made it out.
Anyone else attempted the chop off the leg approach?
Surprisingly, yes. You are the second group to successfully. I mean, like, it's the best case scenario. Everyone makes it out. Another person, the captain stays behind because it's attached to the captain, so they get in the shuttle and they loop, and the ship goes to get safety. And yeah, so you're the second one to think of the chopping the leg. I'm gonna be honest, when I wrote the scenario and came up with stuff, it didn't even occur to me. So
now that we've done it, is there a solution that lets you detach the filament?
No, not in this scenario.
So since it's a weird...
Yeah, pretty much. It's the leg, the captain stays behind. Again, like, if the captain stays behind, that's okay, right? They go get help, and the captain just keeps looping until they rescue him. In some distant future when they get it.
They just have to live like the same 5 minutes over and over again for a while.
In pain, always.
Pick up a hobby. Yeah. Constantly. So yeah, I feel like the leg was a pretty cheap escape route there.
Yeah, it works out great. I love that ending particularly. The next, like I said, this was an experimental one. I had no idea how this would play out and how it would like go and hit. I think it was fun.
Yeah.
So that is the third scenario. That's the rule of threes. So we are now complete. So I just want to say, like, did you all have fun?
Yeah, this was delightful.
Absolutely.
Awesome. That's fantastic.
Challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was a blast.
And we had a big success the first time, and we didn't mess anything up too badly the second time. So I feel like, on the whole, we came out pretty well.
I'm gonna have to listen to all of these again when I do like the quick edit, just to make sure like I pull out any like too many ums and whatnot. I want to say you guys may have done the best of everyone.
Y'all lived. Awesome.
So I think that's fun. And yeah, I had a blast. So wrapping up, thank you very much, Mariana and Calvin, for joining me doing this nonsensical thing for an evening. So glad that you came. I'm glad you had fun.
Bye.
I imagine the listeners will have a blast listening to it. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. To everyone else out there, I hope you enjoyed this Kobayashi Maru session. And until next time, we'll see you out there. Thanks for joining us for the penultimate episode of the Kobayashi Maru scenarios. I had a blast with meeting and hosting some of our awesome Patreon supporters, and I kindly ask that all of you listeners out there find us on social media under the handle Starship Tempest and petition Brian to make Mariana and Calvin's Binar Cadets canon. And be sure to listen next time for our final Maru episode with yet another patron. It's going to be a doozy. Until then, we'll see you out there.